Hey, good morning everybody. It's about 8:24 in the morning here on Tuesday morning, and I am here with my Monday Night Raw review of last night's WWE Monday Night Raw. As well as first of all, I want to start off with a little talk on TNA. Now, I've heard Jeff Meacham yesterday talk about what has happened in TNA so far. I've heard what CJ of the adult demographic has said, and quite honestly, let me point out a few things. Now, true, both are right about this whole new they storyline that TNA dropped the ball on. Because originally, the they was supposed to be the main event Mafia, but unfortunately, they couldn't secure Kevin Nash or Booker T when they thought they did. So what did they do? They rewrote it, and in my opinion, wrote out a better scenario by having Fortune, AJ Styles, Kazarian, and Beer Money, Robert Roode and James Storm being they. And the reason I feel it's a better scenario and it's going to, work out better in the end and have a better result is because here you have four homegrown, home company-grown, or company-grown superstars that have been with TNA almost from the very start, AJ Styles being there from the very start, that is, that storyline-wise is going to probably take back the company, not just for them, but for Dixie Carter and for the fans. Why? Because storyline-wise, what do you think is better? Having a group of former WWE and WCW champions winning the company back for TNA? Or what do you think is more better? Makes more sense. Having four of the guys that have been with the company from the beginning winning it back for you. What do you think makes more sense? Excuse me for a second. I gotta let my dog out to go use the bathroom. But again, what do you think makes more sense? To me, it's windy out there. But to me, I think what makes more sense, ladies and gentlemen, is having the company-grown talent that has been with your company from the very start winning back control of said company. I feel it's a better option. I feel it's a better way to go. And I think it's going to have a better result in the end. Now, true, you got Kurt Angle and Scott Steiner associated with them. That's fine. That's fine, because here's the thing. Scott Steiner and Kurt Angle have been in TNA longer than Hogan and Bischoff and Jeff Hardy and Matt Hardy. Yeah, Jeff Hardy was there from 2004 to 2005 or 2006 or whatever. For about a year and a half, almost 2 years. I'll give him that. But the thing is, Kurt Angle's been there longer, and so has been in that company longer. Scott Steiner, on his time, in his times being there, been there longer. So they understand, storyline-wise, where Fortune's coming from. They understand that. Now, again, I feel it's going to be a better result in the end. It's a better choice. Now, as far as the other situation in TNA, the other situation is the whole Kurt Angle, Jeff Jarrett deal. And Karen Jarrett, or Karen Angle, whatever you want to call it. Now, excuse me again. Now, according to the spoilers, for this upcoming Thursday's episode of Impact, there's going to be a contract signing to make the match at Against All Odds official. Now, the match at Against All Odds is going to be Kurt Angle and Jeff Jarrett one-on-one. Now, the stipulations that are going to be added to the match during the contract signing are this. One, if Kurt Angle wins, he wins custody of his kids. Because apparently they're playing off the fact that his kids don't like being with Jeff Jarrett. Well, we'll see what happens. The other is having Kurt Angle, if he loses, walk Karen Angle, or Karen Jarrett, down the aisle to renew her wedding vows with Jeff Jarrett on March 3rd on Impact. That's what it is. I know it doesn't make sense, but that's what it is. And knowing how somebody like Russo writes, knowing how he writes, here's what's going to happen. Here's what's going to happen. I believe this whole thing with Karen being brought in, storyline-wise, is to humble, basically, storyline-wise, is to try to humble Kurt Angle and make him feel guilty and humiliated. You know, not just to humble him, but to make him feel guilty for not being there for her or her kid, or the kids, or basically for the family. On the other side, though, it could basically lead to the fact, storyline-wise, knowing Russo, how he writes, that it could be revealed that Karen Angle, or Karen Jarrett, is nothing more than a gold digger. That she doesn't really love Jeff. She doesn't really care about the kids, and all she cares about is herself and how much money she can get out of it. So knowing how Russo writes, it's probably both scenarios. One, with Karen, it's to make, storyline-wise, to make Kurt feel guilty for not being there for her and the family. And on the other hand, it's also probably down the line going to make a Karen Angle, or have Karen Angle be revealed as a gold digger. Because remember what Kurt Angle said on Impact, on an episode of Impact about 2 weeks ago. He said he was going to pull out every skeleton in her closet. So what bigger skeleton to pull out than to reveal that she's a gold digger? Okay, now that we got that out of the way, let's talk about Raw. Now, last night's Monday Night Raw was a decent show, in a continuous, decent build-up to the Elimination Chamber. Now, the two main storylines going into last night's Raw, or focused around Raw last night, two of the main objectives of the storylines was, one, CM Punk wanted Nexus, the new Nexus, to take out every single opponent of his in the Elimination Chamber, or at least injure them to the point that they would have a bullseye on them and make it easier for him to advance to WrestleMania, win the Chamber and advance to WrestleMania. Now, they did get 95% of that job done, except for John Cena, who low-blowed CM Punk and then used the chair, thanks to Jerry Lawler, to take out Otunga and McGillicuddy. Now, obviously we know that this is going to probably lead to Cena winning the Chamber. We could be wrong, they could throw us its curveball and all that, but it's going to probably be Cena winning the Chamber. Because already, Vince McMahon's already, from what sources have said, wrote off on the matches for WrestleMania. Now the other thing, the other storyline going into last night is Miz and Jerry Lawler. And basically, Miz wanted to come out and sort of mockingly show appreciation to Lawler. Now this of course led to a tag team match that involved Lawler and Daniel Bryan against Miz and Ted DiBiase, which Daniel Bryan and Lawler won. So anyway, they continue to build that story up. Despite how people feel about it, it looks like it's a decent build-up. Now, why were these the two main objectives for last night's Raw, as they were the previous week or so? It's real simple. We know, according to many sources, according to many sources, and like I said, from what Vince McMahon has signed off on, Miz is supposed to defend the title against John Cena at WrestleMania. Now the reason for that is, now everybody knows apparently if that match is going to happen, Miz has got to beat Lawler at the Chamber. Now here's the curveball. Here's the curveball though. Here's the big if factor. They could also throw us a curveball like they might do tonight at tonight's SmackDown tapings. See, the big curveball they can throw us is having Lawler win the title and then probably losing it 24 hours later or a week later back to The Miz. So at least you could say Lawler was WWE Champion. Makes sense, right? And also that helps build up another match that they're talking about doing in WrestleMania in somewhat way, and that's having Lawler versus Michael Cole in some kind of match. Some are saying it could be a handicap match where it's Cole and Riley against Lawler. Some are saying it could be a tag match where it's Lawler and maybe somebody, perhaps Daniel Bryan, perhaps maybe even Hornswoggle, knowing how WWE is. against Riley and Michael Cole, who knows? But that's why that could happen either way. But either way, you know, either Cole's going to cost Lawler the match again in Elimination Chamber, or he's going to cost him the match the rematch when he defends the title against Miz, probably 24 hours or a week later on Raw. Now, the other thing about last night was the promo, the teaser promo they brought up again, a newer version of it, of the 2/21/11. Now we heard Johnny Cash's something about "Ain't No Grave Song Gonna Hold Me Down" kind of deal, which of course apparently means that promo has to talk about The Undertaker, but yet people still insist it could be somebody else. It could be Sting. One person on YouTube has entitled their video by saying that TNA has removed Sting from its roster page. Okay, and some are saying that if you look at the video, the guy's got cowboy boots. Okay, true, but let's not forget, despite how you look at it, if it's The Undertaker, you just got to deal with it. You can't just throw, you know, names out there and say, no, it's this person, it's that person. Because I've already heard people say it could be other people. One guy in the Bleacher Report said it could be Tyler Black. Some are saying it could be Kong. Who knows? Excuse me for a second. But like I said, some people say it could be either one of those two. But we don't know. So until we find out in about 13 and a half days or 12 and a half days, we won't know who it is. But obviously the logical answer after hearing that song by Johnny Cash last night during that promo, it has to be Undertaker. It has to be. And you don't think if WWE is going to bring him back, you don't think WWE is saying, hey, we know fans are going to catch on to the fact that if we show the static and the hand and the crosses and all that, people ain't going to know. Believe me, I saw the promo for SmackDown coming to Sacramento the day after. And they talk about the return of The Undertaker there. So you tell me what's going on, huh? Now, as far as Raw goes overall, it was a pretty decent show. The Divas match was even good. And we found out we're going to have Natalya against Eve next week in Anaheim. It's going to be good. It looks like the Bellas are full-fledged heels now, the Bella Twins. And apparently we're going to have an announcement as to who's going to host WrestleMania. Now, it's not going to be the first time we've had somebody host WrestleMania. In fact, we had a hostess a couple years ago at WrestleMania. But who's going to host it this time? And it's supposed to be so big that people are going to talk, and it's going to cause ticket sales to go through the roof. Well, according to some people that watched Raw last night along with me, you know, Lawler and Cole kept throwing out the B words and all that. So apparently, whether we like it or not, the announcement could be Justin Bieber. I hate to say it could be. Why would Vince McMahon come out and say this is going to be huge? That's obviously the reason. It's going to be Bieber. It's going to be Justin Bieber that's going to host WrestleMania. And I feel sorry for Justin, because the only cheers he's going to get is from young girls that are going to be there. That's the only reason, because they know they're going to sell out tickets with young girls coming to see him. So, overall though, Raw was a pretty decent show, and I definitely say if you could download it, check it out, see the replays during this week whenever you can, check it out. I gave it about an 8 out of 10, and that's all I'm going to say for Monday Night Raw in my review. I thank you all for watching. Tell me what you think of what I had to say about it, and I'll talk to you all later.